Good morning. Welcome to Porch Talk with Cheryl. I just hope everybody's having a great morning. And today I thought I would do a talk on fear versus opportunity and also ways that we let those things seep into our lives. You'll have to excuse me, the sun's coming up. I'll try to lean a little bit. Hopefully, I can dodge the bright sunlight. But I wanted to start this morning our talk with a card that says, I will not waste a single day of my life. Today is the only today there will ever be. So our talk is kind of on, let me see if I can change position. Yes, I can change positions a little bit. Excuse me for a moment. I won't be editing this out. It's just a thing. Yeah, I think that'll work a little bit better. But, so, things that keep us stuck, I think, are ideas about fear, how fear keeps us stuck. And when we feel stuck, or we feel like life is not moving forward, a lot of times it's because of a situation that we're in and we don't know what to do. We're afraid to make a choice, but we're afraid to make a choice because we're afraid of failure. And failure is something that you don't, I'm sorry, I have notes. You don't overcome it by avoiding it, you grow stronger through it. So sometimes we have to make hard choices in life, and they're not easy because we're afraid, oh my God, it's going to be the wrong one, or this or that. And in failure kind of, there's a voice that sits and it whispers in our ear, don't do that, stay comfortable, stay where you're at, everything's fine where you are, why are you wanting to rock the boat like this? And so a lot of us, we don't make the hard decisions. We don't decide that we want to start the business or put ourselves out there or go for the promotion or other things as well. So we just stay in our place. And with staying in your place and avoiding the fear, you're avoiding growth and you're avoiding the lessons that are being presented to you to learn. And it says failure is not a wall, it is your teacher. So we can break down failure in a lot of ways. So when you go on interviews, a lot of times they'll ask you, describe to us one of your failures, in one of your careers or your jobs. Explain your worst failure and how you overcame it. And my answer was always one of, we all define failure differently. And I don't define failure as something wrong. I define failure as an opportunity to grow. And that's very important that you carry that mindset, because if you don't, fear will seat you right beside him, and you won't be able to move. And then with fear, there comes stagnation, and you just don't progress forward in life. So I'm going to put my notes up here so I don't keep looking back. And it's one note. It says when you hold back because of fear, you are building a lack of, or you are holding back a habit of hesitation. And hesitation is the silent killer of potential. So, when you don't do anything, nothing happens, right? So I try to always be in a forward motion as much as I can. And then for people who, a lot of times you must, to distract your anxiety from failure, and also of standing still and you get into distraction, scrolling on the phone, watching movies, doing things that eat up your time. And distraction is a killer, as we waste time doing things and replacing things instead of doing what we should do to build our lives to be better. Investment of our time and efforts compounds our achievements. Fear and distractions overdraw these accounts, leaving us empty. So if you don't want to, a lot of times distraction, we always have noise, we always have something distracting our headspace. And when you don't pay attention to review, to time sitting with yourself, you're throwing away time. You're throwing away time. Time is something we can never ever get back, but you're throwing away opportunity too. But a lot of times, the things that we use to distract us are things that disconnect us from ourselves, because we don't want to do the inner work of examining ourselves and our lives and so on and so forth. So we always want to, I'm not saying we always want to, but 9 times out of 10, people will push back one-on-one time with themselves. So beware that you are using distractions, as it could be procrastination. As a form of procrastination, it can be putting off one-on-one times. It could just be putting off time, or putting off things that you need to do to build your life. And it says we are what we repeatedly do. So if you follow the same routine every day, might as well be a robot, right? Because there is no growth in doing the same thing every day. Again, I cherish being able to learn and to grow, and I think that doing those things is very important for human growth. Sorry, I'm leaning forward, my notebook fell. For human growth and for advancing forward in this world. Life is not meant to be, life is not meant to be pain-free, challenge-free, failure-free. We are designed to have to go through those things, because those are moments that we build our character. But you can also deflect learning by just staying very routine and very strict, and don't letting anything, disrupt your routine, your path, so that way you don't have to deal with anything. So it said you must guard your attention, or somebody else will focus on you. Because if, the TV's going to take your time, games are going to take your time, having to spend time with other people is going to take time away from you focusing on you. And it says, don't dilute your goals to fit into somebody else's life or space. So if you've got goals, you've got something you want to do, and it takes projected movement forward to be able to achieve those things. But if you're constantly unplugging from the time that you need to use to do those things, then you just sit there in that pool of, well, that idea is not a good idea, I'm out of there, And you have to have the courage, to do that. It takes courage to keep on a forward-moving path. And a saying here is, courage isn't about moving without fear. It's about rising when comfort whispers in your ear to just stay there, that it's okay. But choosing comfort moves you further from the life you want. So when we get into routines, our comfort zone, and we never step outside of that, we don't come into a place where we trust our judgment. And um, this is another one of my favorite cards. It says, I am resilient and I can conquer challenges. So we all have challenges in life, but you can't, you have to conquer them to move forward. You can't just sit and simmer in those things. And everything you do doesn't have to be perfect. So if you fall, if you fail, you have to define those things. Failure is I wrote a really good, I'm sorry, I'm looking down. I watched a program on this morning. It was super good. And it had so many good tidbits that I want to share here. Hold on one second. But, it's easy to numb yourself with distraction. Just distraction, you think, oh, I'm just doing something to pass, time. But you're wasting time. And time is something that we can't regain. It's a priceless commodity that we all have. And, my question is, will you waste your time? And will you waste your life? Sure, downtime is important. It sure is. But having a thing when you come home, you have a beer or you have a glass of wine, and you just fall into the routine that just swallows the rest of your time that you have to spend with you. And it says distraction actually weakens you so that it makes the mind restless, unable to hold a clear thought for long. You can't build your mind if it's being pulled in 1,000 different directions. It's easy to numb yourself with distractions that creep in rather than sit in silence and focus. But easier choices create a harder life down the road. Making the harder choices now creates an easier life up the road. Train your focus and you will become more powerful every day. So when you learn to focus on what you need to do, focus on what your goals are, that takes you in a direction of power. When you are distracted doing this and that, I know everybody has responsibilities, don't get me wrong, but when you have free time, and I know free time is a commodity these days with people having families and all that, I know that's true, and I'm not discounting that fact. But when you have private, personal time, it says distraction sometimes. It says train focus, and focus is, when you choose that, you're choosing to master yourself. So focusing on the items that you need to do to get to the next step. It says distraction is practicing avoidance, and your life will reflect, your path on life, it will reflect on which road you chose. Did you choose distraction? Did you choose focus? Did you choose a negative, a proactive, or reactive? It says what you ignore today, what you don't deal with, if you don't follow your dreams, if you don't take the time to, follow your dreams and follow and build your life, then it says it will become the regret that you carry tomorrow. This is very true. This is very true. I've had this happen in my life a lot. And it says, don't waste your times on things that don't matter. Life is shorter than you think. It says, use your time to build, eliminating distraction and fear. Eliminate distraction, fear, because they're not worth it. So I feel that there is that yin and yang of fear. Sure, there's fear of danger, but being afraid to progress forward and not take chances and not try is wasting your valuable, precious life. And it says focusing on self, it will improve your relationships as you no longer seek others to validate your worth. So external life always follows what is within. Um, do you delay things in your life waiting for the perfect moment because of fear? Well, let me tell you, as a person who started many businesses, and I've failed in businesses before, surely, and I know many people have. I know many successful people have failed, but when you fail and you scrape your knees, you can either let that fester into a wound that you keep in your soul, you keep in your headspace, you let it damage because you take it as a rejection. Oh, I'm no good, I'm not worthy. Or you can say, this is a temporary thing. I'm going to get up and I'm going to make it work. And also look at it as a lesson. It is also a place where you can learn how to do something better. Failure, and this is another note, I'm sorry, I'm reading down. Failure doesn't equal being a failure because you were rejected, it doesn't mean that you are not worthy. Failure can move you into clarity, and rejection into clarity, and pain into endurance. So through, it says failure is a trick of the mind. I find this to be so true. Trick of the mind. I lost my place. Is a trick of the mind. Where are you? Failure is a trick of the mind. Fear becomes the meaning you attach to it. So when you when you fail at something, then you begin to fear. And fear will whisper in your ear. It'll tell you you're no good. Don't try. Go back to your comfort zone. It'll be okay in your comfort zone because you create control in your comfort zone. It's people who are successful in their life, in their businesses, in their spiritual growth to move out of the comfort zone. Super important. So I'm reading these notes. I apologize for looking down, but this is such good points. And so it says the fall is going to be a wound or a lesson. Realize this and allow fear to lose its grip on you. Don't use it to define yourself, but when you define fear properly, it will stop. It'll take the fang and the bite out of fear. We're going to fail. We are all going to fail. But failures are opportunities to grow, and you need to remember that. And letting yourself be forged to become stronger in life. And if you sit back and you don't allow those oop, sorry, I fell down. I fell down, but I'm going to get up. Sorry about that. Just real life broadcasting. I'm not going to edit it out either. 1 second, I got to pick up a card. I'm back. So this is the card that I picked up, and it says, "I do not let mistakes define me," which is right up the alley what we're talking about. So just because you make a mistake doesn't mean you're a failure. I mean, it truly is an opportunity to look inside and to examine and to learn a lesson and to get stronger and be more powerful. So these glasses didn't work. I was hoping that they would. But failure is not a punishment. It's a training ground. What a great thought. Life is a school to me, but it's not a punishment. It's a training ground. I love that thought. And it says you have control over you, not the outside events that happen to you. They are beyond your control. What we do have control is how we respond to them and how we interpret them. Once you see failure as building in resilience, you take back your power. You don't let fear knock you off your horse. And nothing outside of you can truly defeat you. I love that. I think that is so wonderful. It is so awesome. So I overcome my fears by following my dreams. So dreamers, don't be afraid. It's okay. Everybody fails. Remember that. And it says, the question is not whether you will fail, because we will all fail at times. But the real question is, will you allow failure to bury you or build you? Wow, what a great statement. I love that. Will you allow failure to bury you or build you? That's a great one. The choice is always, always yours. I have the power to create change. You do. You have the power to create changes, and you are free to make your own choices. So yes, you can make a choice to stay in the same place and do the same thing because you don't feel strong enough. And that's another subject that was covered that I thought was a great thing in this talk. And it was about how we're all waiting for everything to be perfect, for the timing to be right. You may wait forever. You may wait forever. So what you have to do is begin now, and everything will fall into line. There is no fail-safe time to do things. The time to do it is to jump in and do it now. It is the truth. I can tell you that. I can attest to that. And something you have to remember, with failing, and because it's going to happen to every single one of us. I have copious notes. I'm trying to pick out the best points. Just hold on one second. I'm sorry about being distracted by this, but I want to share because there's so many things. But it says failure is not the final chapter. It's the beginning of a better chapter. I love that too. It says by falling and experiencing failures in life, we build knowledge and experience and resilience. Falling hurts less when we go on, when we realize obstacles won't end your pursuit. It teaches you to build resilience. Fear will always whisper its lies in your ear, but you are stronger than those whispers. Once you prove this, fear loses its fangs and it loses its fuel. And it all depends on you to let that happen. It says life will present challenges over and over to give us opportunities to grow and become unshakable. I love that. Only through this process is it possible to become the person who a person who no longer feels failure or doubt. And so in this talk, I just wanted to express how, and even me, I have been a time waster, and I have been a person who gets into procrastination and distraction because I don't want to do something. It could be a chore, it could be a project, it could be, whatever. I mean, how we just, sometimes we think it's going to be scary, or we just don't want to do it, and so it's, it is taken me doing these talks because I've had to restructure my life to do them. I get up at 5, I study, I pray, I meditate, and find a subject that I think will be a subject that people would be interested in. But I'm determined. that, I want to share my wisdom and my knowledge with people. But, you know, again, you can equate fear and distraction with failure, or you can just simply put the word opportunity and resilience behind those words and erase the other ones, because the other ones it's false. It's a false thing that's being presented to us. And it says, I love this card. It says, I have the power to create the life that I want. Life isn't going to come knocking on your door. It's not going to fall out of the sky. You have to go get it. You have to be brave enough to challenge your fear, to put it aside and just go for it. And if you quote unquote fail, at least you tried. The worst thing to do is to not try at all. And that's the scary part, is a lot of people are very comfortable not trying. Remember, comfort will speak in your ear along with fear. Fear and comfort. Those are the two major blockers to keep you from progressing forward and developing your talents, your spiritual relationship with God, a new business, so many things. And you want to remember, challenges help me to grow. Without challenges, think about what life would be like if we had no challenges and no failures. Why would we be here? It would just be nothing, right? Everybody would be robots. But life is designed. We're in school. We're here to learn. We're here to, see what we do with our lessons. And so it's up to you. Do you want to live life on the sidelines, or do you want to get in there and play the game? Yep. And it's just, it's just that way. And it's the journey that you pick. It's the path that you pick that you decide, what are you going to learn? What are you going to do with your life, And my last card, I love this one. It says, I don't compare my life to others. Everyone's on their own journey. And this is true. So if you tell people, hey, I'm going to start this new business, people are going to go, don't do that. Why are you wasting your time? Blah, blah, blah. And what it does is it creates that fear and that bubble up of nervousness that you feel. Don't tell people your plans. Do it. Just do it and see how it works, and study what you're doing, but don't wait for the perfect moment. You just got to jump in there and do it. So I wanted to show you something. I told you to surround yourself with great things and all of that to keep you motivated. And I found this great book. I think I found it at Dollar General. It's $3. It's called The Best Things in Life Are Sweet. And all it is a bunch of pages that you can color. And this page in particular says, I got to read it. Never get tired of trying. So never get tired of trying. If you get tired of trying, it means that comfort is speaking in your ear, and you don't want that to take over, your life. But like this, I love this. I can't wait to start coloring this. You are gold, baby, solid gold. I love that. We're all solid gold. And so, and I love this one too. Don't be afraid to be great. Sometimes a lot of us hold ourselves back because we're afraid of success. Yeah, I did that. I self-sabotaged myself with procrastination, with fear, with other projects being busy and not turning towards me because I didn't want to risk it. I didn't want to fail in the eyes of other people. But if I didn't try, I would be a failure in my own eyes. I would be creating regret that I would have later down on the road and saying, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't, and so I'm here to tell you, I'm 65 years old. Started this 2 weeks ago. It's doing pretty good. I need you to like, share, comment, and subscribe for me. I want to hear your comments. I hope that these talks that I'm doing are helpful and help people maybe get a little more clarity on these subjects, and that they help you along your path and your journey. And so live your life boldly with no fear. Don't worry about what people think about you. Just do it. Because the only thing that really matters is what you think about you. And if that's a problem, then you need to work on that first, before you do anything else. That's a primary thing that you need to get done. But I just want to say bless you and thank you for joining me on Porch Talk. And come back tomorrow. We'll do another one. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? All right. I love you. Have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye.